Welcome to the All Comfort Services Home Comfort Zone podcast. I'm Theresa, your host. I'm the marketing manager at All Comfort Services. Our podcast explores everything you need to know about your home's heating, cooling, indoor air quality, plumbing, and electrical systems. We share expert insights, practical tips, and engaging conversations with customers and businesses to provide solutions, ideas, and advice. Let's get started. Today, I have Torrance Kramer, who's the president of Accurate-Airtight Exteriors. Welcome.
Thanks, Theresa. Thanks, Kurt, behind the camera.
So I brought Kurt in to do the video, but I also brought Torrance in here to talk about the Home and HEER program, the Inflation Reduction Act, Focus on Energy, Home and HEER program, and also to talk about your business and what you do and what homeowners and businesses, how they could benefit from your business. Mm-hmm. So let's just get started and tell me more about the Home and HEER program.
Okay, yeah, if you want to start there. So Homes HEER, two different programs out there, different qualification entry points gauged at general homeowner. The Homes program is a bit more comprehensive, if you will. It is for all income levels, but if you are below certain median income levels within your community, there is additional funding for you. They're both really exciting programs. They came through the Inflation Reduction Act money that went out to federal monies to the different states. Wisconsin was one of the first in the country to actually sign up for the IRA and to actually get their program signed up. At Accurate-Airtight, we were actually one of the first contractors to sign up in the state of Wisconsin for the Inflation Reduction Act. The Homes program, again, itself is the more comprehensive of the two. It starts with an energy audit. Must use a registered contractor to do the audit and to do the work. To find out where you sit within that, though, you want to go to focusonenergy.com and go to the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA portion of their website, and go through the income qualification portion of that to see, okay, where do you sit within that median income and how much money will you actually qualify. So you get your qualification, find the registered contractor that you want to do the energy audit, do the energy audit, then you find out through that how much potential for energy savings you have in your home. If you are within the 20 to 35% range, that is a certain level within your income level of qualified rebate. If you can do a project that's going to save you 35% or more of your total energy, you get additional boost on top of that. So you got those income boosts, but then you also have the boost if you're going to do additional projects. So in homes, for example, if somebody was going to say, oh, it's really uncomfortable in here, maybe you have ice damming, things like that, you might be looking at an attic insulation air sealing project. You may want to look at doing some ventilation like bath fans, kitchen exhaust, things like that on top of it. Maybe basement sill boxes, not only keeping the mice out in the fall, but also keeping those cold temperatures out during the winter. Combine those projects. That's going to range someplace between 15 to 25% energy saving typically in a lot of homes. Not going to get that 35% threshold with a project like that. If said customer rolls in, say, wall insulation, maybe they break that threshold. Maybe they now are going to get 35% energy savings and additional rebates towards that. But they may go, you know what? I'm looking at maybe that attic insulation, air sealing, sill box project, but my furnace is getting a bit old. Can we add that in? Or maybe their entry point was to start off with, my furnace is failing, I want to do that. Let's look at what our energy savings is there. That could be 10, 15, 20% energy savings from that furnace itself. And then they go, you know what, we want to get that 35% threshold. So we go, all right, let's look at an attic insulation project or sill box project, maybe windows. Basically through the Homes program, if it's saving energy, for the most part, it's going to qualify underneath of that to be modeled, and that's part of one of the thresholds is the energy saving predictions come from an energy model. So the energy auditor would build a model, look at the different opportunities for energy efficiency in your home, and then establish how much potential energy savings you could get from that. Said customer chooses what their project looks like, moves forward with the project with a registered contract. At Accurate-Airtight, we are actually one of the primary contractors, meaning we almost general contract these projects. and then work with the different subordinate contractors under this program to execute the different components that would qualify under the Homes program. The HEER program is a little different. The whole Homes program, or sorry, the HEER program is more focused on electrification, trying to get heat pumps out there, and it's more of a prescriptive type project, or program, I should say, meaning while you do have to do certain things, certain thresholds to pass through the HEER program, an energy audit is not required. Still may want to do that to know what the best opportunities for improvement are in your home, but it's not a requirement of the HEER program. For HVAC, on the other hand, for heating and air conditioning improvements, they do want to see manual J calculations. They want to see that you're making the strategic improvements based on the actual building that you're going to put the new equipment in, meaning that the equipment is properly sized. So an energy audit, quasi-energy audit, that manual J component of that is still going to be part of the puzzle. And so at Accurate-Airtight, a lot of times we will go out, we'll do an energy audit, let the customer choose whether they want to go Homes or HEER, and also promote doing a manual J calculation to establish that they're right sizing said equipment. The HEER program does prefer more towards that income qualification side of things, but it is a much more direct, cut and dry type program, and they do have money for weatherization things like insulation and air sealing.
So there's a lot, obviously, in these programs, and so to kind of recap it is essentially that anybody who thinks that if they need to replace, for example, their air conditioner, they should consider a heat pump. If they do have some telltale signs of non-energy efficient home, they should look at this program. And like you said, they could enter it at any place as an entry point. And on the Focus on Energy website, they go to qualify, to pre-qualify.
Yes.
And
so for the Homes program.
For the Homes program. Yeah. And the HEER program, I think it's the same page.
Yes.
It's the same page that they can go to.
Correct. Yep.
But like you said, they may be getting a heat pump estimate with a contractor. Like All Comfort Services is also a contractor on the list. They might get a quote from us, and they may be curious and wonder about the homes, and so then at that point we let them know, and then you can take it from there to help them out. Yep.
Both All Comfort and Accurate-Airtight are very versed on the entry points and the basic requirements to find out what is available to the customer. So reaching out to either All Comfort, Accurate-Airtight, or any of the other registered contractors on the list can direct towards what the best options are for getting rebates through the program. Because there's times where we recommend Homes and there's times where we recommend HEER, depending upon not only the customer, their income qualifications, but also the project that they're looking at doing.
What are some of the telltale signs that a homeowner would know that they should probably look into this? The home in particular?
Yeah, I mean, if they're looking at doing a more comprehensive type project to their home, they would definitely be more qualifying. And when I say comprehensive, that could be something as a furnace or water heater, but doing a water heater alone, not going to be a large enough project. But if they're doing a furnace or an air conditioner, or they're looking at doing some weatherization project, that would be something to look into. Frankly, even if they're doing windows, that might be an option, but not a window. So somebody who's doing a bit more of a larger energy saving, and that's really the cornerstone, an energy saving project in their home, it's worth making a phone call. But what's the worst that can come out of it? Sorry, this isn't a qualifying project, but it's worth making the phone call.
And so, for example, back into that question, what are some signs, like as a homeowner, that, for example, your heating bill, your utility bill is high? Is that
Sure.
a sign that they might benefit for? What are some other types of things like?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I always stray away from the "is my utility bill high" question, because what is high, and does the homeowner really know what others are paying? Each home is so unique and different, from the square footages to the size, to the way it was built, to the air, to the equipment that's in it, and to the way that the people operate it, that it's hard to tell. Is the homeowner actually doing something in their home that is driving the utility bill high versus the building itself? But there's plenty of other telltale signs, whether that be discomfort. If your upper level of your home is hot during the summertime, there's probably air bleeding in from the attic. If you've got pests intruding during the fall, there's probably energy loss and air loss down to your sill box. Those holes that are letting in the air or letting in the mice. That discomfort in certain select rooms, whether that be summer or winter. Is the HVAC sized properly? Was the ductwork sized properly to actually get the required heating to that room? And is that requirement that's in that room based on the building shell itself, as in, is there a deficiency in insulation or air sealing in that area that is making that poorly sized ductwork not be able to distribute the energy into that room? Ice dams is a really obvious one. If folks have significant ice dams and it's continuous year after year, there's probably heat bleeding from the house and up into the attic. Is your furnace making strange noises? Is there burn signs on places that it shouldn't be? Does it seem to run a long time? Or another one is, does it turn it on and off a lot? If a home is very leaky, the furnace tends to turn itself on and off very quickly, because the furnace goes and fills up the balloon that is the home with energy, and then all the holes let that air right back out as quick as it came in, and it's got to turn back on to replace it. So the furnace ends up turning on and off and on and off to replace that. There's many other signs amongst that, and that's work with an energy auditor along those lines. One that we get quite often is sweaty windows. People will think that they got poor windows out of that, when in fact they may have good windows, and they may actually even have a tighter home, but they have really poor ventilation in the home that is not letting the moisture that's being put into the home from cooking, breathing, showers, that sort of thing, and not properly ventilating the home. So that's a home that may not actually have the best opportunity for energy efficiency, but still would warrant having an energy audit and having somebody identify. And through that, they may find out there are these things that they could do to improve the energy efficiency in their home.
So let's say people are listening and they're identifying, yes, check, I have that, I have that, I have that.
Yeah.
So what are their next steps? What can they do to prevent things, or just to explore other options? What can they do?
Sure. So the first step typically in that is to have an energy audit. Have a qualified person, and ideally they're a Building Performance Institute certified. That's kind of the base threshold to be an energy auditor. Somebody who has those qualifications and ideally has been doing audits for some period of time to come out and take a look at the home. So I've always told many of my staff and the thousands of people I've trained over the years that an audit is what we call it, though. What is an audit? When I started my career, I did audits, and they were myself and a clipboard, but no equipment. Compared to what we call an audit at Accurate-Airtight, there's a blower door, there's an infrared camera that we're using to find the air leakage in the home, the quantity, but also using the infrared camera to find out where those locations are. But also, combustion safety is really a key component of that too. We want to make sure that we tighten the home and we increase the ventilation, that we're now not making the furnace, boiler, water heater spill carbon monoxide into the house and cause nasty issues. We want to also look for any things that could be causing molds and mildews. If we're tightening up that home and ventilation isn't really thought out prior to the work that we do, we tighten up that home becomes more plastic bag-like, if you will, more tight. And now that moisture gets trapped in there, and that can cause molds and mildews. So that energy auditor has to think about all those different components and how they interact, from the attic to the walls to the basement, any additions, crawl spaces, and then also keep in mind how the inhabitant, actually uses the home. Somebody who doesn't cook a lot versus somebody who cooks, meals every day for 10 people is a very different home and how they operate. Somebody who likes their home at 65 degrees versus 75 degrees under those same type conditions can also modify how that home operates. There are other energy auditors out there besides Accurate-Airtight Exteriors. A person can go to the focusonenergy.com website, look at the different list of trade allies that are out there. There are different auditors that would qualify. There are even a few independents out there that are not associated with any particular contractor that could also guide the customer through that. And then while on the Focus on Energy website, able to find out which rebates are available there. So that was something we talked about earlier, was the Inflation Reduction Act money. There is also the Focus on Energy rebate money on top of that that can be stacked with that. And then additionally, the 25C tax credit, which can then also be stacked on top of the Inflation Reduction Action money, the Focus on Energy money, combine that with the 25C. There's no reason that folks aren't doing these projects and, going after these 20 to 35% energy saving projects.
And I think there's some money included to do some of this energy work that you do in the home program.
Yeah, so the homes program is for these different qualifying projects that will meet this 20 plus and 35% plus saving project thresholds. And the same thing with Focus on Energy. Each one has their qualified requirements, the things that must be done, how a project must be done, basically avoiding the old air quotes blow and go type insulation companies, or the fly by night HVAC companies. We're making sure that these things are done correctly, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and the boxes are checked on what needs to actually go into a project, and with that, the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, that was started with federal money, so it has traces of federal programs in it. So there are a lot of requirements in order to meet that. And that is part of this puzzle too. As someone is going through this, they do need to understand that the IRA money is a little bit more challenging to get through the program, and it's really good to have a guide who understands this. So at Accurate-Airtight, I've got multiple staff that are very versed in this, frankly more versed than myself, on the requirements of going through the IRA programs. They are the first to get the emails from Focus on Energy. They're the first to make those contacts on behalf of the customer if there is something unique that doesn't typically fit within the guidelines of that IRA program.
And I don't think we talked about the amount of money that people can qualify for the homes or the HEER. Up to $14,000, I believe it's for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So people can qualify with their annual or average monthly income, 80% to 150%. So our data suggests that over 77% of Dane and surrounding counties, homeowners will qualify. Yep. So what we're finding is that a lot of people think that this program is for the 80%, the income, and they're just not. They're not pre-qualifying. So what's your experience with that?
With the different programs that are out there, so throw this into a big bubble of all the different programs that are out there, and aside from the IRA, if someone's looking at doing an energy efficiency project, there is likely a program that they will fit under, whether that be HEER, Homes, Focus on Energy, or the 25C tax credit. And the only way to find that out is start out with those different income qualifications for those programs to find out where they fit in. And what we're finding is that most homeowners qualify for a reasonable amount of those different monies. That's a different animal based on what the project is. Not all projects are qualifying. So one of the big things we are finding is people are coming to us with smaller, very uncomprehensive projects that they were planning on doing, and they do not qualify. But anybody that's looking at, again, comprehensive, meaning something that's saving a bunch of energy, in weatherization, that means doing a few different things. In HVAC, that could be, one swoop, moving the furnace out very quickly qualifies. So we've got these different thresholds, but most people are going to qualify.
All right. And I don't know if we mentioned the electrical and hybrid heat pump water heaters, those qualify. So when someone's getting a heat pump installed and they need to expand their electrical, the wiring's included and panel updates too as needed. And the same with the heat pump water heaters.
That's really huge for some of these older homes, especially here in Dane County. We've got some of the older homes in the state here, and there's still a fair amount of inferior wiring out there that's not going to support these heat pumps that we're looking to install. And they were smart enough when they built the HEER program to realize that to incorporate money towards while doing this electrification, towards doing better wiring and boxes and homes. That was a really good catch on their part, and it's real money. That's the thing when we start talking about how much money is available through these programs, especially for those folks that are well below the median income. There's a fair amount of money out there to get these projects done.
And exactly, and like you said, you can stack the savings. So for example, these programs are instant savings. They get that off the cost of the bill. Then if they haven't already claimed their federal tax credit, they can also claim that.
Yep.
That's outside the program.
Yep.
And then Focus on Energy also has additional savings. And if any manufacturer has any sort of rebates going on, they can stack those as well.
Yep.
So people should just go on the Focus on Energy website, go on our website. We have a link on our site, and pre-qualify, and you do too, and pre-qualify. Just find out if they qualify and see what they can do with this program.
Yep.
Thank you, Torrance.
Thank you. Appreciate it.